Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallama ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabb ishrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, respected Sheikh Babakar, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I'm an English teacher. I'm a secondary school teacher from Aylesbury. I love poetry. I have a website where I write and share short stories and poems. I've also written a novel, inshallah, that anyone's interested, I'll tell you about it later. All right, very quickly, I've got two poems. We've only got 5 minutes. First poem that I will relate to you was written in response to our friend, Pastor Terry Jones in America, who had his strange idea. And the poem is called The Man Who Wanted to Burn the Book. Once there was a man who yearned to burn a book, which millions loved. It was their special book. Its verses had some of them completely hooked. They were delighted by just a momentary look. But this man sneered, he confounded their desire to read this book, to follow and admire. He thought it was wicked to even take a look. The proper thing, he thought, was to burn the book. So he ordered many copies, new and fine. Some people sent to him and some came from online. He made a stockpile, then every day he cooked a raging fire to sizzle all these books. Suddenly his face appeared on every media. He even had a page on Wikipedia. There was great outcry. Many labeled him a schnook for his intention to burn this special book. When people heard, they ordered him to stop. His friend said, "Don't listen or you'll be a flop. There's wickedness, there's violence if you look. The only thing to do is burn the book." Eventually the fateful day arrived, the bonfire ready and their faces full of pride. They gathered round inspecting every book. They couldn't wait to watch them being cooked. They filmed them burning by the multitude. Films of it were uploaded on YouTube. Frenzied people rioted and their fists they shook. How dare this man abuse their special book? But as the books were perishing in the fire, it sparked off many to search and to inquire. What's all this fuss about? Let's take a look. Why does this man love to burn this special book? And every day this man prepared his fire and giggled with his friends watching the books expire. More people couldn't help but take a look at the contents of this special burning book. And finally, when this man was feeling better, he was greeted with thousands of complimentary letters. Some praised him for the work he undertook, but many thanked him for showing them the book, because now they read it every single day. They loved its rhythms and the message it conveyed, and now they couldn't resist taking a look because of the man who loved to burn the book. So, I'd love to recite that in front of Pastor Terry Jones and, see how he responds. But there you go. All right, next poem. For a long time, I've been asking the question, where do I come from? I'm from a Pakistani background, born and bred in Aylesbury in Britain. So like many of you, whichever background you come from, I'm sure you've asked the question, where do I come from? And this poem I wrote as a response to some of these YouTube videos where you've got these aggressive women on the tube, really kind of giving racist comments to people. So here we go. It's called Go Back to Your Own Country. And this is the last one that I'll do. I'm a man who was born in England, and I was flabbergasted, you see, when this lady jeered with her terrible sneer, "Go back to your own country." I was sitting minding my own business at the back of the number 23, and this lady glared like a grizzly bear, "Go back to your own country. I can tell by your bushy joint eyebrows and your looks foreign and swarthy that Muslim beard isn't welcomed here. Go back to your own country. You swarmed into our nation. We welcomed you generously. But you brought your whole clan from Pakistan. There ain't a job left in our country." Well, I'm sure that you can appreciate I was furious as Wolverine. You cheeky sort, began my retort. I was born in this country. I possess a British passport. I pay my taxes and VAT. What cheek you've got, and I'll tell you what, I've had enough of this country. So instead of heading on to my business, to the airport I went angrily, off to join my dad in Islamabad, going back to my own country. When I landed and retained my baggage, strolled out into Rawalpindi, I became cornered by some crafty beggars, the vagabonds of my own country. Have some mercy, my dear brother. Give us all 1,000 rupees. Do I look like a jerk? I said with a smirk. You're a shame on your country. They stared at me with astonishment, saying, listen, you posh Englandy. Don't you lecture us with your Gora accent. Go back to your own country. They left with some huffing and puffing. I stood there dejectedly, feeling quite injured by their withering words. Do I belong to any country? Then my dad appeared at arrivals, and we left in those dinky taxis, said some prayers and praise at my Dada's grave. But I slept that night with great unease. When I woke, it was like a lush garden. People smiled and greeted me. Spirits dressed in light and charming sprites. Welcome back to your own country. Then I recognized my Dada Abba, with a face young and serene. Listen here, my boy, he announced with joy. Paradise is your true country. The earth is the world of the traveler. You don't belong there, you see. So until it's time to leave your body behind, you have to bear with adversities. Your spirit will never be contented with the earth and the 7 seas. The truth is clear, you don't belong there. Timeless is your true country. So while you're alive and kicking, don't stress about some mockery. To reach the bliss of a Huri's kiss, bear with ignorance patiently. In this world, you're always an outsider. You're like a wandering refugee. Your ego and pride fight the spirit inside. They don't live in your true country. Don't yearn for a country or a nation. Live with courage and harmony. Don't be perturbed by some ignorant words. In time, you'll reach your true country. With this wonderful dream in my memory, I returned to my country of residency. My old routine, the number 23, there sat the woman who had abused me. When the bus stopped, I saw her struggling with her bags and her property. I repressed my rage and offered her some aid. She smiled and accepted me. Thank you for your help, said the woman. I'm very impressed, you see, but at the end of the day, I just have to say, go back to your own country. If you're interested, I've written a novel called The Hidden Ones. It's a mystical thriller. It's available on Amazon. If you're interested, come and speak to me. Thank you.
Thank you for this. Also, before I continue, if someone lost a phone, there's it's with me, so come see me afterwards. Second to come on stage is Mushtaq ibn Ayub. There he is. Just. No, it's. Can you speak a bit loud? But the things that you need to put this in. Also, can you keep it a bit short? Yes. How can you word it? Just put it.
Salam Alikum. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I don't know whether the sound system is working or not, so I'm trying to be as loud as possible. So my name is Mustak ibn Ayub. I'm doing a PhD in cancer research, and I'm from Bangladesh. So the poem, I'll take really, make it as short as possible. The poem that I'm reading is about a train that I missed last week when I was traveling from East Croydon to London Bridge. And the poem is read as "The Worst Train I Still Miss." I missed it by a few seconds, and I was embarrassed as anyone would be after running to a bus or train and find the door closes in front of you. I didn't look around for a few seconds, lest I should meet some eyes that followed my failed attempt and rejection. I found another train within a short time, and this is what you would like to see. This one is directly connecting my destination. This one is prettier, more spacious, and less people to encounter with. This is faster, promising to take me to my station before time. And I will be able to spend some spare moments in a beautiful park or on the sidewalk that runs beside the river before I engage in my next business. This is the best journey I could ask for, and I was happy. I was happy until the thought of the missed train crept into my mind, the worst one that I had missed. The train that would touch every possible junction and station, the train that was supposed to be late, crowded, and unreliable. How is it going? The thought started to thrive. Who is sitting beside me if I were there? Is it running through a woods, crossing a corky river that slicks in the sun? Is anyone from a station waving at me by mistake? Or an unknown fragrance entering into my camera with the winter gust? Is there a colorful window in a distant house that I would have loved? Or a lonely daffodil swaying in the wind on a slant roadside? All these things, which probably never were there to see or experience, I started to miss. I still miss a worse train that I couldn't get in. So thank you, that's the first one. The second poem, and that's the last one, is going to be part of a project that I'm working on. And I'm trying to write 50 poems. And the compilation of the book is going to be called 50 Shades of Love. And it will depict the journey from the beginning to the end of falling in love. So the one that I'm going to read is that I wanted to call like selfless selfishness. So this is the phase of love when you try to do a lot of small things for your beloved one. And I wanted to call it, everything I do for you, I do for me. You may have noticed I do unnecessary things for you. I will walk with you to take you home, though my house is at the other end of the city. I buy stuffs for you, which you probably don't need at all, like cheap cookies, funny clothing, trinkets, blunt tea, useless bike oil, etc. I write you silly things too, which you never would ask to know. You may think I do these things for you, for your comfort and pleasure. Ah, how remotest the reality is. I work with you and I can do that forever, or till you can continue it. Because every step I take while you are beside me, I feel flowers and feathers blend in my blood. I fly in the imaginary world where cotton's clouds make the pavements for me. The things that I give you, though they are silly and cheap, are the treasures of pleasure to me. When you accept those and smile, millions of stars spark into my head, the sweetest lullaby passes through my ears, and the most soothing breeze flows into my heart. When you read some unnecessary notes from me, I imagine the black letters get life, get into my lungs and remove all the clothes which are smothering me. Now you see, everything I do for you, I do for me. So that's the last poem.
Thank you for this, Mushtaq. And our very last one is Walaa Quisay. I would ask her to come on stage and give her one applause.
Salam Alikum. I'm quite new here. I've only been here a month or so, so it might, in hindsight, it might not have been the best idea to depress you, but here we go. Okay. So I'm going to read 2 poems, and basically a couple of months ago, I got a text from my friend in Egypt. He said that one of our mutual friends had killed herself. And the backstory to this, I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but we all have a spiritual journey, and some of us get lost, and some of us never find the way. So I think after Zainab killed herself, I started to think about me, and all of my friends did as well. And so this is the first poem. Tell me, my friend, does the night gulp the air? Does the air screech in its tear? And does your smile wither there, if at all you smile? It is my being in its stay, will for what purpose condemn your stray? If it's stay or not at all a stay, so again we pray. For our stranded soul, as we all pretend that we are whole, but like the air, we screech there, my friend. Did you caress the still wind in its escape, or did the still wind wound your shape? I don't know, none of us really do. We only escape our pitiful selves to find you. Tiptoe on the shallow clouds, I too heard sounds. It stripped the daylight and left a blinding sight. To whom do you pray? What did the message say? I cried, I try. What will be your response when you wither and die? I try. My hands, like the rest, are now coarse. My friend, did we tie your ropes? And the midnight jugglers call me and you hope. They call us hope. Empty your days or make mine full. The sun and the seas are null. The wind and the birds are null. The word and its days are null. My coarse hands are null. Your descending noose is null. Verily, all except Allah is null. Lubaid found his way, did he not? Maybe my pitiful soul has a shot. My friend, you always had so much to say about the night and its day. I guess the word died there too, in the emptiness of a stare. One little word, just one word. You'd miss her. I'm sorry, you shouldn't have left. It was not yours to take. But now as you broke, we too break, my friend. I cannot turn back to that cursed place where everyone was lost in track. I'll just embrace the days that passed in a cloud. I'll embrace its deep till it shrieks aloud. We were all once lost in a crowd, but you disappeared. I guess my hands will always feel coarse to make memory of all the ropes, my friend. May God forgive your heedless stray, and may He keep the straight path our eternal way. For there will be no hope but in Him when the sun rises and when it is dim. So betray the day, its gloom and whim. Subhanaka Rabbi, la malja'a wa la manja minka illa ilayk. So the next poem is a little less angry. The next poem is a little less angry because I took some time and I thought about things. Alhamdulillah. Should in the fiery star the air convey the pitiful but blessed clay that condensed the day in still sound and ask to be found like abandoned pebbles in sand or where the missionaries stand to utter a prayer empty of words in the sea of gods submitting to none, and so man chose to run. In an all-losing day, we're all prostrated, but none would pray, for within each man's heart, a tender clay, long grown hard. But she, my friend, I don't recall her smile at all. However, she never did hide her soul. It moved and ran with the wind. The still wind is often the end. For the air is known for its brute when it encloses or when it shoots. So me, I run by day, living despite the wind's slow stray. We in time look to the sky, for it often tells us how to die. She saw a noose, one sad rope dangled, and that was hope. In a fan above with the air and the wind becomes the end. Hawa is often the end. So by the winds and whims which days fly, which weepers weep and which try, except to see certitude in the sky that makes the constant bloody rain of the earth dry. I always lose my farewell. I never loved to say goodbye. And so instead, as the airs they shy or break, I cannot let you be for my soul's sake. And that's how the London sun often speaks to me. In its fade, it claims to be free. In the end, we mourned ourselves. In the end, we all knew we lost. There will be no return at whatever cost, except maybe one day, hear the sound, the last train station bound, and a prayer being called. Time then would have already been sold, and maybe we too won't know where to go. Nights and days will not be manifest in awe or glow. I was never one for a proper goodbye anyways. Thank you.